the morning you work on the market or whatever, like it's, it's this transubstantiation of what in traditional society is your substantial determination into a contingent idiosyncrasy of the way of life. So, I talked very long, so just to conclude, what does this universality mean politically? Just to conclude, I cannot refrain from concluding with another dirty joke, of course. I claim that what bothers me politically today is that a kind of a fake sense of urgency pervades the left liberal humanitarian discourse. One of the indications of this fake sense of urgency is, do you notice this a certain, for me I find it disgusting, rhetorics of immediate references, like, if I were to be like that, I would then talk like this. Are you aware that for every word that I used here in this time, 10 children died of hunger in Africa, or for every sentence that I said here, a woman was raped on our streets. It's true, but so what? First, so what? Of course, it's horrible that this happens, but by so what I mean, what is the function of such references? I claim to prevent us to think. This false urgency means don't think, don't analyze, do it. No wonder that today Bill Gates is saying this. When I was young, there was still this anti-capitalist discourse, oh, they live up there in their ivory tower, they don't see the suffering. Did you notice how today, when, for reasons that I cannot explain now, charity is the fundamental mode? I think it's strictly, it's no longer even ideology. It's not as in the times of Andrew Carnegie, that you steal first everything and then you give half away and then you are the greatest humanitarian and so on. In the days of Andrew Carnegie, it was still a personal idiosyncrasy. I think that today, through figures like Bill Gates, Soros and so on, it's becoming a necessity, even an economic necessity. I claim that it's one of the keys to what is going on today is this necessity of this charitable humanitarian activity, which precisely further pushes or asserts this cultural depoliticization. How should I put it? No? Problems are resolvable not through politics proper, but through humanitarian acts. So, because of this, I claim, one should absolutely, how should I put it, precisely if one wants really to confront the problems, to retain, how to call it, cold blood or what, not to get lost in this, oh my God, isn't it decadent? I'm here at the university spending years and out there people are dying and so on and so on. One should be a Marxist here. Which kind of Marxist? A Marxist and a Leninist. With these two jokes I will end up. I was recently reading a letter, wonderful one, of Marx to Engels in 1870, where, as you maybe know, for some time it looked Paris Commune and so on. It was a total illusion, of course, but it looked to them that there will immediately explode an all-European revolution. So then Marx writes to Engels a very desperate letter, like, my God, can't they wait? They want a revolution. I haven't yet finished my Capital and so on. No, that's an attitude that we shouldn't be afraid of. So we should gather the courage to step back. That's what the ruling ideology today, that's what it is afraid of, which is why they always support all these charitable things, blah, 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 but not the, let's call it abstract social reflection. In other words, let me conclude, now really conclude, with a joke that I usually somewhere in my work, but will give a new twist to it, a well-known joke from my youth on Lenin. Maybe you know it. When I was young, still a communist country, and we had almost in all of the classes, I remember in elementary school, this Lenin's answer when he was asked to give an advice to young people, what should they do, no? It was learn, learn, and learn, no? And it was in our school, learn, learn, and learn, Lenin, and so on. This slogan was all present. It's the background of the joke. The joke is what? This kind of imaginary joke of a situation where Marx, Engels, and Lenin are asked what would they prefer to have, a wife or a mistress. Marx answers wife. He was, we all know, more conservative Okay, of course, this didn't prevent him from having an illegitimate child with his servant, but that's another story. He pretended to be. Look, Engels, more a bon vivant, said a mistress. Then Lenin, to everyone's surprise, says, I want both. Wife and mistress. Now, this was a shock. Lenin was supposed to be, totally ascetic and so on. What is it? Was he a hidden pervert? No, Lenin, then they asked him, but why? Wouldn't this take too much of your revolutionary time? Where is the revolution? Lenin said, no. Precisely. The point is that I can tell to my wife that I have to be with the mistress and tell to the mistress that I have to be with my wife. And then they ask him, okay, but what do you do? Now you got the point. Lenin answers you, learn, and learn. And I think that's what we should sometimes do. If by wife we mean job, official, recognized activity. If by mistress we mean this protesting, but this immediate, non-reflective, active protesting, we should maybe play a little bit of this. Step back, learn, and learn. There are situations in which we really, in the long term, do much more to, how should I put it, to help positive potential changes in this way than in a too direct engagement. If the engagement is too direct, it can, in a way that we are not aware of, how should I put it, serve the system. For example, to conclude, now I will lie, but it's 2 minutes. It's such a nice anecdote that I cannot resist telling it. Maybe some of you know it. If there is a radical theory today, popular, the theoretical reference of Negri and Hart Empire and so on, it's Deleuze Guattari, no? This summer I was in Israel, there and in Ramallah also, of course, helping my friend Udi Aloni to do some propaganda for his anti-Zionist film. But there he told me a story, my friend Udi Aloni, which was such a shock to me. I thought first it's kind of a bad joke, like they want me to appear an idiot. But then, no, he took me to one of the officers and, my God, they showed me books. So if this, what I will tell you now is a lie, then we live in a Truman's show world. You know what I mean? They should have organized, part of Israeli army should be included. Namely, to cut a long story short, Israel Defense Forces have an academy. This academy tries to theorize how to fight intifada, how to fight what they perceive as Palestinian terrorism and so on. You know what is one of their main, and by this I mean really one of their main, like not just mentioned in a footnote, but substantially referred to as source of concept, theoretical references, Deleuze and Guattari, 1000 Plateau, 1000 Plateau. They conceptualize all their fight against intifada as the problem of nomadic warriors, restructuring space, multitude. It's unbelievable how the structure is the reference to Deleuze Guattari. What does follow from it? I'm not an idiot. I greatly appreciate Deleuze and Guattari. It's not that, you see, Deleuze and Guattari really ideologists of Zionist imperialism or what. I'm just saying that everything practically can be appropriated. By this, I don't mean that you should become paranoid and do nothing. No, the rules are here much more refined. One of the lessons that I learned is that sometimes you can do something minor, small, and although it may not appear a big thing, it has a much more explosive effect than kind of a brutal, big opposition. But to know this, you must learn, and learn. Thank you very much. Whatever. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just I warn you, did you see James Bond Goldfinger? You know that famous scene, The Car, where James Bond can press the button, and that's my dream of a truly democratic discussion, to have this kind of a plan of this call with buttons, and if you ask me a bad question, I press the button, you go up, and then... Unfortunately, you're not... Okay, sorry, please. Or was there any... Please, I am myopic, so be brutal. Otherwise... I will not see you, and then I can be accused of racism, sexism, speciesism, whatever. Okay, sorry.
Sure, this is not a question, but just maybe addition. want a microphone?
Is there? Ah, it's there, yeah.
Where am I going?
No, I just wanted to say that in the version of an anecdote about Lenin, which I remember from my kind of childhood in Russia, it's even